Hello and welcome back to Culinary Haven. Today we're making a pecan pie, a recipe requested by one of our subscribers, the lovely Shelley. Everybody likes it. It's a real crowd pleaser and it's really easy to make. I'll show you how. A pecan pie is a classic American dessert, but today we're making a Culinary Haven version of it. To make it, we'll need, for the pastry, 160 grams of plain flour, 125 grams of very cold butter cubed, and 2 to 3 tablespoons of cold water, and a quarter of a teaspoon of salt. And for the filling, we'll need 200 grams of pecans, roughly chopped, plus 100 grams of pecans, halves, 100 grams of soft brown sugar, 310 grams of agave syrup, 170 grams of maple flavored syrup, 1 teaspoon of black treacle, 2 tablespoons of dark rum, 90 grams of butter melted, and 6 eggs. And we'll start with preparing the pastry. To make the short crust pastry, we'll need 160 grams of plain flour sifted with a quarter of a teaspoon of salt into a food processor, and 125 grams of very cold butter cubed, unsalted butter. And I will process it until the mixture resembles breadcrumbs. Looks like coarse breadcrumbs. Just a couple more seconds. And now we'll add the cold water. I'm actually going to do it through this chute, and we'll process it until we see that the dough starts to clump together. Stop. There you go. Only takes a few seconds, and 3 tablespoons of very cold water. And now we're going to roll out the pastry and fill our pie dish. I'm using this ceramic pie dish, but you can also use metal. It makes no difference. So this one is 18 centimeters in diameter, but plus the sides and the level of overlap, we'll need to roll out a circle of about 30 centimeters in diameter. Dust the surface with the flour and your rolling pin. Not much of the dough, but it's enough for the pie. Just fit it together in a sort of disc shape. Keep it lightly floured and do it as quickly as you can because we need the dough to be really cold. Now start rolling out in all directions gently. It's a very, very easy to roll out dough. It will not break or tear. Just gently roll it out, turning this disc. And make sure that you move the dough, checking that the surface is floured, and so it's your rolling pin, and just go gently and keep checking that it's not stuck. Almost round. Let's check. 31. With the pastry brush, brush off the excess flour. Gently roll the dough up onto your rolling pin. Take a pie dish and lower it into the dish gently. and let it just fall into the dish naturally. The last thing is we're going to crimp the edges and then put the dish into the fridge for about 20 to 30 minutes for the crust to firm up. And to crimp the edges, what we're doing is we just push with this finger up and pinch with the other two, like so. If the dough that you've rolled out is uneven, you can either trim it a little bit or you can just fold it and then crimp. It's absolutely fine. So what we're doing is just with this finger pushing the pastry towards these two and just pinching them. Like so. And now it's going into the fridge for about 20 to 30 minutes to firm up. We have about 10 minutes left for the pie crust to chill, and we'll prepare the filling. Medium-sized bowl, and I'm going to use this handheld electric whisk. You can also use a manual whisk. And we'll start with crack 6 eggs into the bowl and add 100 grams of soft brown sugar. Whisk it all together. And we'll just whisk until the eggs are well blended and the sugar is sort of dissolved. That's enough. And now we're going to add 2 tablespoons of dark rum, and I'm adding 1 teaspoon of black treacle into it. It will help to dissolve the treacle. Leave it there for a minute and add 310 grams of agave syrup or agave nectar. You can buy it in any supermarket. And 170 grams of maple flavored syrup. Not maple syrup, maple flavored syrup. And we just whisk it to mix it all together so everything is well combined. And now the rum with a teaspoon of black treacle dissolved in it. 90 grams of unsalted butter melted goes in. And now we're going to fold in 200 grams of roughly chopped pecans. It's a lot of pecans, but it's a lot of pie. And this pie will feed at least 10 people. The pie crust is nicely chilled, and now we're going to fill it up and put it in the oven. Just pour it all in, and on top of that we'll put the remaining 100 grams of pecans. Just in absolutely any pattern you like, doesn't matter. It will be very beautiful and very delicious anyway. And now the pie is going into the preheated to 180 degrees Celsius oven for about 45 to 55 minutes. It depends on your oven. Rotate the dish halfway and just keep an eye on it until the crust is golden brown and the filling is a little bit wobbly in the center. It's ready. Our pecan pie is ready, but we can't have it yet. Now we have to let it cool for at least 6 hours before we serve it. It's a pie, so we'll just cut slices directly from the pie dish and serve it with either a dollop of whipped cream or a scoop of ice cream. The pie is now cooled completely, and it's time to slice and serve. Even if it's messy, it's still delicious. Thank you for watching this episode of Culinary Haven. If there is any recipe you'd like to see in an easy to follow step-by-step video, let us know. And until next time,